Will today present a white paper to outline proposals aimed at helping boosting European defence spending as part of a broader roadmap that Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has called Readiness 2030. Speaking to cadets at the Royal Danish Military Academy in Copenhagen on Tuesday, von der Leyen said that by 2030, Europe must have a strong European defence posture and provide a credible deterrence. The white paper is expected to elaborate on how member states will be helped to buy weapons, with measures including easing fiscal spending limits. For more on this, we can go to Dave Keating in Brussels. Good morning, Dave. What can we expect to see in this white paper?
Well, the European Commission is about to unveil this here at the headquarters behind me, but I've already seen a leaked draft, and some of the things included in this are quite contentious. Some are really spelling out the details of what was already said 2 weeks ago when the Commission urgently put out its Rearm Europe plan the morning after the United States froze military aid to Ukraine. The biggest item is this 150 billion loan scheme called SAFE that EU member states could use to borrow money in order to buy military equipment. That also contains a joint procurement instrument where countries can pool their resources to buy military equipment, get a cheaper price, basically. That, according to the draft I've seen, would be open to allied countries like South Korea, Japan, and Canada to participate in. Also, the UK is expected to get an invitation. It's not sure that Keir Starmer would accept it because it might not play well domestically. Now, also, as you mentioned, they are loosening these fiscal rules that were set up after the debt crisis 15 years ago, spelled out exactly how in this white paper. According to the draft, 1.5% of GDP. Up to that, countries could take out loans in order to buy military equipment without violating those fiscal rules. Now, European prime ministers and presidents will be coming here to Brussels tomorrow to discuss this white paper, and we'll see how they react to it.
Now, is all of Europe in agreement on this? Now, Viktor Orban's Hungary is, of course, the usual spoiler, but is there other dissent elsewhere on the continent and perhaps more nuanced dissent?
Yeah, when I've been talking to national government representatives, Orban is expected to oppose a lot of this tomorrow, but the plan is to just ignore him. That's what they did at the emergency summit 2 weeks ago. They just went ahead as 26 countries and just said that Hungary didn't agree. It's perfectly possible to do under EU law. It's just that usually national governments don't like to do that because they don't like to set a precedent that a national country can be overruled, because they might be overruled someday. But they're going ahead with that. That's what I've heard. There are other splits that could emerge, though. So interestingly, in this draft, there is a Buy European clause, which France has been asking for, saying that this money shouldn't be spent on American military equipment because the U.S. government can block the use of that equipment by EU countries. It's enshrined in U.S. law, and they've done it in the past. So according to this draft, 65% of this EU spending would have to be spent on military equipment made in Europe, which includes the UK and Ukraine. That's going to be contentious because Eastern EU countries, which for the past 35 years have trusted the United States more than they have trusted their European neighbors, don't like this idea. They say that Europe doesn't have the capacity to produce all of this military equipment, so I expect some disagreement on that tomorrow. The other thing that's going to be causing disagreement is this common debt. Now, it's not spelled out in this white paper, at least in the draft, that they're definitely doing that, but it is suggested. The frugal countries, the Germanic Protestant countries of Northern Europe, don't like the idea of common debt, these Euro bonds, so they're going to oppose that tomorrow. Again, not set in this white paper, but it will be open for discussion tomorrow.
Thank you very much for that, Dave Keating in Brussels.